I made a lot of videos, and for most of them, I couldn't tell you why one worked and the next one died. I studied the creators crashing it, watched their videos, and still not see it. You can watch 100 good videos and your eyes just don't scale. The patterns are in there, but you can't hold 150 videos in your head at once. So I stopped trying to. I built something that does it for me and stick around. And at the end, I'm gonna let it tear apart one of my own videos live. I took 134 videos from the creators winning in my space. Instead of watching them one more time, I fed everyone into a system that reads all of it: transcripts, titles, thumbnails, descriptions, even comments, and tries to find what actually repeats. Not what I think it works, what the numbers say that it works. Here is what I found. The phrase second brain is the most covered topic in my whole niche, and the single worst performing thumbnail text in my dataset. Zero breakouts. Everyone's making second brain content, but put those two words on a thumbnail and it dies. The generic words AI, code, brain, all flatline. The concrete punchy ones win. That's exactly what your eyes can't catch and a graph can. Let me show you how I build it, and then I will do something uncomfortable and point it at myself. First question: whose videos? I didn't grab random viral clips. I picked creators in my exact lane, people teaching AI, Claude, knowledge work, who were actually getting traction. The ones I would want to learn from if I'm honest about it. Every channel and video is linked into the description. Go look at it yourself. The next part sounds boring. Scraping, storing the data, structuring. Stay with me because it's exactly what lets the thing grade my work later. This next part is the piece most people get wrong. This is what I studied. 134 videos from 15 different channels. Most of them are from the same channels, like the Nodus Labs, which is an incredible place for learning mostly about the mechanics of building knowledge bases. Nate Herc, who is an incredible consultant explaining how to use AI, doing crazy things. And of course, Thiago Forte, who is one of the owners of a YouTube channel that talks specifically for building digital brains. And for the purpose of the project, I've collected the URLs from the channels I wanted to extract all their videos and some other videos from random channels talking about that specific topic. Then I collected all those in one place on Airtable, and the scraper was responsible to extract from the channels I wanted to scrape all their videos from unique video URL just to extract the information. And for all the video URLs, the scraper was responsible to extract everything, like the title, the platform, the channel. The URL was given from me, the video ID, views at the date of scraping, number of likes, number of comments, the length, also the thumbnail. So I was able to analyze the thumbnail and recognize patterns about creating a thumbnail. I was able also to associate the length of the video with performance. I review the descriptions, tags that have been used, and of course the whole transcript. Also, what is very valuable for me is also the top comments. So the process grabbed all the top comments for every single video, where I was able to analyze automatically using AI what was the engagement type for each one of those videos. What was that thing that people actually evaluated for that video. After taking all the data from YouTube with the help of the scraper, we ran the analysis, and all the analyzed data were coming here into this nodes graph inside my Falcon DB system. So right now we can see only a few of those outcomes, but this is how information was structured in nodes and relationships. For every single video, we have a separate, unique nodes graph. And of course, most of those videos have common nodes because they have a common topic or a common tactic. The thing is that I did not analyze those transcripts and the comments and all of this input. Claude was responsible to run the analysis and store the outcomes into these nodes bases. Now, the interesting thing is that having this type of database for my information, AI is quite easier for it to query all of this information and recognize best practices for thumbnails, descriptions, topics, and how people with very engaged YouTube channels actually record videos, making them engageable. Here you can see the full totals. The full memory is 6 megabytes from all those 134 videos. And we extracted 8,000 and a half almost nodes and almost 17,000 edges, which are the relationship between the different topics. And the property keys remain 81. All of this information is useful for us and mostly for AI to query the information. The interesting thing about the FalconDB knowledge base is that it gives us a couple of predefined tools, which are scripts actually, that help us to query deterministically the whole database and recognize the outcomes we really want to have and the greatest advantage of deterministic results. From the labels, we can recognize that channels, videos, speakers, dates, topics, tools, the framework that has been used, problems, metaphors, business use cases, persona, offers, and even the call to actions, keywords, all of this information have been tracked and stored into the knowledge base. And of course, the most valuable one, the hook patterns. So after all that, the scraping, the graph, thousands of nodes, what did all of those videos actually taught me? One hook type beat every other by 3 to 1. One word killed a reach every time it showed up. I didn't guess any of that. The graph counted it. I didn't build a slide. I opened Claude, pointed at the graph, and asked, one honest catch, which you will watch it admit yourself in a second. So here is the actual use case about how I'm using this knowledge base with Claude for my own work. I just started a conversation inside Claude asking it the following. I want you to use the social media knowledge graph and tell me which are those things that actually work for all those videos you've analyzed. The hooks, the thumbnail patterns, the way they try to communicate, the framework they're using on their videos, and the frameworks about the titles. I want you to recognize all these best practices from all this information into this knowledge base. And then Claude was responsible to start the queries and recognize all of these informations. It took me a bunch of time. That's why I split it from the recording of the current video. But let's get into the actual result. Here is what it found about the hooks. Hooks, what opens a winning video? Outcome promise, 42 videos, 12 creators. Remember, we had 15 creators. And the 40% breakout, reliable king, board high. So the outcome promise upfront as a hook is the must-have for a successful video, at least for the cases in my own domain. But after the outcome promise is the bold claim with 32 videos. Let's see for the titles. We see here a number listicle or I built X. These are the patterns for the formulas that convert based on all of these information. And let's see the thumbnails, talking head text before and after. We see that the talking head text was found on 69 videos from 13 creators, so it's quite common best practice. Before and after also is on 12 videos, not that many, and used only from 3 creators, but it seems that these before after thumbnails had extremely good results. What does it mean? Because they were not too many videos with this pattern, this means that most probably the concept or the idea of this video was what made this video successful. Of course, all of these analyses are just to recognize the patterns. These are not the reason why those videos were successful. There are many different reasons why a YouTube video can be successful because of the algorithm and also how hot is this topic and how competitive is this based on what other people are making on YouTube. And third one, it depends on how creators promote that video on the other platforms. So there are many reasons affecting the successful. Here, we're discussing about recognizing the patterns. Let's see the fourth one, and it's also very important, the video framework and structure, how they run the skeleton of their conversation into a single video. The step-by-step one seems to be the most winning one and the live demo ones. These are the greatest ones, so recognizing the other ones. You see also the story arc, niche, loses in this niche. So that's a nice example. This was used from those people, but it seems that it didn't affect them on engagement based on the analysis we ran. The next question I gave into the same conversation, and that was the hard part for me. It was I gave it 2 videos from my own channel. One, I used this knowledge before and during the recording, and another one, which was the last one before I started this project. And let's see the outcomes. The video one was the one without having this tool, is the one I made comparing the Opus 4.8 vs Claude Fable 5, where I used those 2 models from Anthropic to build different knowledge bases, and I recorded the differences. And here we can see that it recognized 4 critical problems, one on the title, one on the hook, and if we have hook and title lost, by default, we get lost. For thumbnail, thankfully, I made strong work. That was, I guess, it wasn't an actual decision. Now, this is the video number 2, 3 things I do with Claude inside Slack. So before I get into recording this video, I used the knowledge base from all those videos. And what I did was I created the outline, I created the titles, I created also the final transcript before I get into the recording, and I asked Claude to compare my own work with what is existed into this knowledge base and audit it based on the best practices we recognized, and they seems to work. So Claude came back with some suggestions for improvements, and I adopted them, and I created this video. So before I get into the recording, I used that one. And also during the editing of this video, I used this knowledge base to do my own editing. Not that much because I didn't want to spend that much time on editing, but now I'm going to use it. And the next question I gave it is, I want you to recognize for the old one video. So if I have to record it again, which are those things I have to change? And he came back to me with all those best practices based on the subject. For example, the title and the hook, the strategic miss here at the top, the thumbnail, okay, that's good. The uncomfortable summary, yes, at the end of the video. And this is how I can use the best practices to prepare it for myself. You saw it flagged its own bias in there. Most of those videos are one creators and it said so. I'm not hiding that, I still bits guessing. Here is the part that got me that old video I made it get. Every flag it through I earned. The newer one that scored clean, I didn't get smarter. I just checked my work against those 134 videos before I published. Same me, but 2 results. One was a guess, one was audited. This is one use of knowledge base. I built it for video, but the move is the same for anything you make. Don't ship on a guess. Point proven patterns at your own work before it goes out, not after it flops. The system doesn't make the video for me. It just makes sure I'm not guessing. I'm doing more of these, pulling apart what actually works instead of guessing. If that's useful, subscribe and tell me in the comments, what would you point something like that at? I will actually read them.